The gentleman is recognized for 5 minutes,
Thank you.
not 10,
Thank you.
but maybe 6.
The two amendments really relate to the same kind of subject. I've been working with the chairman, Mr. Miller, Mr. Moore, on the overall amendment that they brought, and the gentleman from Alabama has raised some concerns, as have some others, and what I've proposed, and I've gotten the commitment from the sponsors of the underlying amendment as well as the chairman to work on the subject that I'm going to discuss, and that is what is the appropriate level under which the enforcement and examination is solely within the prudential regulator. As the amendment is drafted, rulemaking is through the CFPA and applies to all of the financial institutions covered by the bill. Then there is an exemption for those institutions that have $10 billion or less if they're banks, or $1.5 billion if they're credit unions. My proposals, and I don't know which one's one and which one's two, but I'll start with first one. I said we should do it not based on a strict dollar amount, but on a percentage of total deposits, because one of the things that's driven this entire discussion of all these bills is systemic risk and too big to fail, and I think we can't lose sight of that. So one of my amendments says that we should look at those institutions that have 1% or more of the deposits in the United States. That encompasses 17 banks and 52% of all deposits in the country. The other is a little more refined, and what it deals with is any depository institution that has an audit team stationed on site. And that reflects 6 of the biggest thrifts, 17 of the biggest national banks, 12 of the largest state non-member banks, and 14 of the largest state member banks. And that totals 72% of all the deposits in the country, some $9.6 trillion. One of the reasons that I focused on these two amendments is something Dr. Price brought up. Forget all of the conversation about jobs, but duplication of effort. And I think that we want to make sure that in this process, rulemaking, from my point of view, should be done by the CFPA. Examination and enforcement should be the responsibility of the prudential regulator in as many cases as possible. Where we have an audit team already stationed on site to add a CFPA, I don't think we have duplication. And I think these are approaches that we really should consider as this bill comes to the floor. So I'd like to yield to my friend, Mr. Peters, who I know has some thoughts on this subject as well.